Hello everybody, how's it going? It's Jay from Firebird Films here, and sorry I haven't been posting a lot lately. I'll make an update video eventually. I just wanted to get this review out because while everybody else's review it, I want to throw in my 2 cents because everybody cares a lot. So, let's dive into my thoughts on Captain America Civil War. I'm going to try not to make this too long. Let's start off with my thoughts on the characters. The characters in this movie were fantastic, obviously. But the reason why is because, they took the Civil War story, put it on a smaller scale for a 2.5 hour movie, and then they used the first half, or like the first half an hour or so, to set up everything, and they took their time to do so. Something I love about the first half of Captain America, the First Avenger, is that they took their time to build up the story. They had a lot of scenes of dialogue, characters setting up, and everything, and while people will accuse that of being boring, I like it, because every character in this movie has a sufficient motivation, they have a reason to be there, and you know why, and you get behind them, and it just makes it that more personal. I love that. Black Panther's introduced, his motivations were great, and then another thing is the conflict between Iron Man and Captain America. You see both sides, you sympathize with both of them for very different reasons, and it adds a moral confliction to the story, and that is why, I'm gonna say this is one of the best Marvel movies ever. This is top 3 shit right here for me, along with Winter Soldier and the first Avengers movie, because while the first Avengers movie is fun, this one has a very personal story. So let's keep going on with the characters here, right? I've already touched upon Captain America, Iron Man, Black Panther, and everything. So let's dive into some of the other characters. Baron Zemo is one I want to talk about in particular, because if you watch my show Assemble, you'll know we're doing Baron Zemo. And while I'm a little disappointed with how we've done it, I'm going to talk about him in this movie, because that's what matters. Nothing like comics Baron Zemo, I'm just going to point that out if you haven't seen the movie yet. But the reason why I'm okay with that is because, first of all, Daniel Bruhl's subdued performance is fantastic. He has a lot of depth, he has a good motivation. Like I said, everyone's motivations are in place. And I felt that they incorporated the villain in and actually didn't make it seem too cluster. The story wasn't like a big clusterfuck. And I felt that Baron Zemo was a very good villain for the MCU, even if he wasn't like his comic book counterpart. Another reason why I'm okay with it, they probably weren't going to do him anyway, so whatever. Were they going to put him on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? No. So, that's why I was okay with that. Is this like a Avengers 2.5? If they would have called it that, I would have been okay with it. But, I like this as a third Captain America movie. When I was going in, I was like, I wish we could have gotten Captain America 3 and then Civil War. But after watching it, I'm kind of glad it was Captain America Civil War. Because, with the comic, it's so big and grand that there's no way they could have just made it one movie. And I don't think they were going to dedicate, with the actors and everything, I don't think they could have gotten them to do a full Civil War trilogy. Because really, you could have only done, an Infinity War or a trilogy, where Infinity War is 2 parts. So trying to make it one movie, this is the best they could have done, and I'm glad. People were saying, there's not as many characters. If there would have been any more characters in this movie, it would have been, like I said before, a clusterfuck. So let's talk about the rest of the ass-loaded characters. Spider-Man was phenomenal. Is he better than Tobey? I don't know. I grew up with Tobey, so I'm going to be very biased. I will say, this kid was awesome. Tom Holland nailed it as Peter Parker. He was funny, and the thing about the humor in this movie is that it comes from, Ant-Man, Falcon, Spider-Man, the comic relief, and then, even the main leads, Iron Man, of course. It never felt forced. Another one was Hawkeye. I loved Hawkeye in this movie. He was awesome. Better than the Avengers movies, actually, in my opinion. Their humor just felt like it was a part of their personality, and I really appreciate that, because it shows, it adds personality to their character, it makes you invested in them, and they're interesting, and, it just makes it more enjoyable overall. Yeah, like I said, Hawkeye's awesome. The Russo brothers and the writers of these Captain America movies understand these characters perfectly, maybe even a little bit more than Joss. Arguably, I felt like Joss just, he had so much to handle with those first 2. But, let's get back into this one. I felt that the characters were far better utilized in this one than in Age of Ultron, because, they each got their moment to shine, not just in the action, in that amazing airport scene, which is just fantastic. It's an awesome action scene. But just, with the dialogue and everything, each scene, there's always, the first half, like I said, takes its time. But, it's to build character and to build story, and none of it feels like filler. It's awesome. The action in this movie was, you know, while at times a little shaky, it was like Jason Bourne shaky, you know? If shaky cam can be done right, you know, in your mind, then I think you'll be able to accept it in this movie. They have the wide shots and everything, those money shots and everything. So, you know, it's good. It adds a sense of grittiness in certain parts. Maybe there were some parts where they could have taken it out, but it didn't really bother me. That's the thing about the flaws in this movie. You know, any movie is that, you know, sometimes a movie can have a lot of flaws, but it's all whether a matter of if they bother you or not. And in this case, the flaws in this movie didn't bother me too much. So, yeah, that's all I'm going to say about Captain America Civil War. I hope you enjoyed this brief review. Thank you for watching, guys. So long.